Welcome to Slated for Tomorrow. This is the podcast about incredible people who have found their passion, know their purpose, and also have honed in on their superpowers. And now they can predict the future. I'm your host, Sandy Sharma.
And I'm your co-host, James Archeri. Today we're here with a special guest, Michael Nassirian. Did I say that right?
Perfect.
Senior Executive Innovation Leader, founder of ARVR Academy, and author of the new book, I'm Tired, How to Survive and Succeed in Corporate America. First off, congratulations on this book, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, and appreciate your invite. Very happy to be here.
You know, we kind of want you to talk, before I think we go into this, we want you to talk a little bit more about this book. Like, can you tell us what it's about? Give us a little preface for 30-second clip, elevator pitch.
It was about why the name, why you wrote it. Let's start there.
It all started because I had a lot of blogs. I talk on the stage, and during all of these talk, one common questions kept coming, like, what do I do about my career? I'm at the corporate, I'm doing this, my manager doing this, and then my kids start finding their way into corporate America. I didn't want them to go through the same issues I went through. So pandemic gave me ample time to write this, put all these blogs together, and I came up with that. Initially, I called it Corporate 101, and then I said, essentials of corporate, and then I noticed that every time I talk to young talents, I said, hey, Marco, how you doing? He said, I'm tired. Hey, Bobby, how you doing? I'm tired. I said, okay, I need to relate to these guys. I'm tired. How to be successful in corporate America.
So what's the takeaway?
The takeaway is, first of all, I wanted to attract young talents into reading. And initially, I wrote about 700-800 pages. And the publisher said, hey, listen, who are the audience? I said, 18 to 36, 35-year-old. And she said, what are their attention span? I said, between 1 minute to 1 minute 30 seconds. I said, and are they going to read 800 pages? No. So we reduced it into stories. These are stories that happened to me in the past 40-some years of corporate. And I'm not in the business of telling people what to do, what not to do. Through those stories, I'm giving them life lessons.
I'm actually really excited to start reading this because it sounds like if I wake up in the morning, it's not going to be, like you said, an exhaustive read every day. It's going to be very pointed, like easy digestible chapters, which I think is awesome, right? Do you know what the average length of a chapter might be, or a story?
The whole thing is a short trip from LA to Seattle. Literally, that was I portrayed. If you don't even read the whole thing, just read the first paragraph of the first few pages of preference, and you get attracted. In that, I ask a question. I give you a story, and I ask a question at the end. And throughout the entire book, I keep asking you the same question. Are you a businessman or not? And you'll understand why I'm asking that. A lot of us in corporate, we're saying that, no, we're not businessmen. We are a regular human. We like to have fun. We're family men and all that. But then the corporate, especially corporate America, is such a sticky node that deviates you from that. And you become a businessman without regards of family. And a few years into it, you'll have cholesterol, you have a heart attack, and you'll have
thinning hair and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you lose your hair, and then you inherit a lot of things that you didn't bargain for. And that's what this book would give you a big node of think. Keep thinking. When you are in that meeting and your family is having an event and you're missing that event, this book is telling you what's the priority. And this is so true that I worked for Microsoft for 20 years, which is human years is about 72, I guess, every year. It's worse than dog years. And I'm sitting in my office during the ship time, and ship times are very, very, very big at Microsoft or at any corporation.
Shipping product.
Shipping product.
Yeah, okay.
And you see ambulances coming and taking my colleagues. And I call the office and say, hey, Susan, who is it? I said, oh, it's Bob. Had a heart attack at his desk. I don't want anybody to go through that. And I didn't. I was lucky enough that I had a purpose in life, and I stuck to it. Corporate America is a very rough environment, and the rewards are high, sacrifice is high. And I got into trouble with that with a few of the corporate leaders. But luckily, they all signed up, and they were very supportive of this book. I called in the middle of a chapter that corporate America is a bastard child. It has no mother or father. The purpose is to make money. And that was purposeful. That was for the right reason, because these young talents are being attracted with the benefit package, so-called, and they jump into this sinkhole. And within a matter of 2 to 3 months, the honeymoon is over, and they won't realize it. Very often, we bring in talents that we believe they have a lot of potential, and we don't treat them right. They have a separate expectation. They come out of college or they come out of a different environment, and we literally open the red carpet to bring them in, but they're young. So they don't understand the loopholes, and within the 2 to 3 months, all of a sudden they wake up and they said, wait a minute, why is my manager doing this? Why is my team is now rough? And that's why I called it. I said that corporate America is a bastard child. It has no mother or father. It's there to make money. And you come in and said, but yesterday I was on the pedestal. And we say, and we paid you yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
So today is a new day, and you have to understand that. So this book is for that.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I did take time to do that, because both my kids work at Amazon. And using that mentality, they have done great for themselves. They've been promoted, and they love their jobs because they are in command rather than their manager.
All right, sir, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Oh, what do you have a special?
Soy latte.
Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog. Definitely dog, no cat.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Do you have a biggest inspiration in your life?
Yes, family.
And then what was the last really good book you read, besides yours, of course?
It's a book that I'm finishing up. It's called The Four. It's the hidden DNA of 4 companies: Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple. And it's Scott Galloway is my idol. He has podcasts. He has. I read anything, but The Four I recommend it to a lot of people that want to understand the success factor behind these.
It kind of aligns and balances with your book, right?
Very much, yeah.
So tell us about what your passion is, what your purpose is, and kind of how you got there.
Passion and purpose, hand in hand, create your success factor. And as I said, my passion in life was always my family and how I could nourish them. And with that, I have a very big desire of learning, getting to understand new technologies, new way of things. So that has been the forefront guidance for me in all aspects. Yeah, it was my compass. It was my and thank God I'm an immigrant. So that immigrant mentality taught me that there is no obstacle that I cannot climb. I was going to college in University of Texas during the hostage crisis and the revolution in Iran during the 70s and 80s. So surviving in Texas during that time taught me I can survive anywhere. And there is no obstacle I cannot climb, and nothing that is complex enough I cannot solve. So with that, I always try to put myself in the forefront of technologies when Microsoft was doing it, or when we were designing military chipset in Texas Instrument. I never saw any challenge undoable. Surface computer came out. Imagine Microsoft is the software company that 90-ish% of devices were having an attach rate, and now they want to create their own hardware. And I'm coming from a hardware background. I'm going like, wow, hallelujah. I learned software and I've been in hardware, so I'm it. And I was one of the first few engineers that was invited into the design of the Surface and learned a lot. Right after that, I jumped into the HoloLens.
Rest in peace.
HoloLens is still very much adopted by industry, automotive and medical. But unfortunately, Microsoft took the different focus, and other companies.
Well, they took the platform play, and I totally get.
They divided it. They divided the devices and the platform, and you don't want to do that. And then I go back to human. Those that know me, they know that my perception of humans is very, very low, and that's when I'm really in a good mood on Tuesdays.
Just Tuesday only.
Only Tuesday, between
1 hour
10
window,
to 11
10
when
to
it's
11.
rainy. And I believe very strong that humans should not be behind complex decision making, and we get into it later. But to answer your question, all of these decisions are made by humans. There is always one guy at the top with no supervision, and they make the decision. So we have an innovation, and they're thinking this way, and they want it this way, me first, and they derail the innovation because of them. When there are no team and no big body of think tank to move an innovation, it gets derailed.
So you're saying singular human versus the collective.
Yes. So in the world of startup, we're different. We're all collectively work toward a goal, toward a purpose.
I love what you've been talking about a little bit more about, how dangerous it is to just rely on one particular person. They have their own bias, their own agenda, and I appreciated that you're you're rightfully cynical of some people. So how do we ensure? And this comes down to the question of like, for the newer generation, right? Based off of the book that you've written, what advice would you give some people that are maybe who are passionate about becoming the business leader, right? In today's world.
I believe the world is their oyster. They can do anything they want. They should, but then they should have some building principles behind them, and that is data. They should listen. They should be very open to criticism. Then they should bring in expertise at every aspect of their work. They should not be complacent. A lot of questions when I go universities and these young talents talk to me. What if? I said, and slow down, think, use a couple of principles of logic. Logic is 2 + 2 is 4. Common sense. Does that 4 fits into this equation, or you have to make it 5? So for young talent that are in this industry, they have a lot more tools, technology, and know-how than when me or Sandy, for example, started. And we made it this way. And these young talents, they are so rigid when they come out of college. They are so non-refined. They stick to something and they think that's it. A lot of the questions today is, but this company that I go, what if the product that they're doing is not green and they're hurting the earth? And I'm saying, do your effort. Don't just talk.
Nothing in life is black or white, right? There are degrees we all accept, and we have our own rationale for why we accept those. But what I like, what you're saying here is, if you believe in a certain cause or a principle, be the evangelist for it, live it, start to reform it, and influence others. Why complain? Because we're all going to have to make choices which suit our circumstances. And then we justify it to ourselves, but we still complain about the protagonist? I mean, is that...
Well, so actually, and before we go into that, because I want to get there, so hold me honest with that. So I wanted to summarize what you shared, because I think some of the insights that you were quickly highlighting about what helped make you be successful and not only surviving, but thriving in the corporate America, right? Was removing ego, leaning in on experts faster.
And data.
What helps you successfully survive and thrive? And feel free to, obviously color, because this is your life that I'm trying to summarize. Was you removed the ego at the door. You saw an opportunity to go faster by being a sponge and learning from experts, right? Same thing for me. I kind of like took the analogy of, I don't want to be the stumbling and finding out things the first time. People have already gone down this road in my life. There's how many billions of people in this world? I know I'm not, very rarely would it be like, oh, well, James is the very first person to ever have to deal with a difficult boss and negotiate his salary. Probably not.
This is exactly the building blocks that you just mentioned, and I was very adamant to point the details of it in the book, because in the beginning, when I joined the industry way back in 1980, there were a lot of loose standards that we have established today. I remember I came out of college. I was studying toward my PhD, and my manager had only 2 class. He was in elementary, 2nd class when he joined the Texas Instrument, and I was reporting to him. Throughout the entire year and a half, I reported to him. He would call me college boy, that short shit, that foreign guy we just hired. And every time I would say, that's me, because
that was your identity.
The identity was given to me, and I didn't care. I had no...
Yeah, don't give them the power.
I was not going to play that game. I became his manager after 2 years. Yeah. I always say that you can change your team, you can change the product, and you cannot change your manager. So choose the right manager, because that is...
Make or break. People, isn't there I don't know the exact stat, but I've heard this passed along a lot that says majority of people leave the manager.
Not the company. And what is it? It's a domino effect. When you are feeling bad, it's emotional. We're human.
Yeah.
Emotionally, it gets inside. You don't eat right. You don't exercise right. You don't sleep right. You don't talk to your family the correct way. You don't talk to your friends. And this is a domino effect.
The whole concept and idea, remember, people used to tell us, and I want you to get to that, don't bring your work home. As if you can literally get in the car and turn it off. I'm sorry, I'm going to wash my feet. But we're good. Honey, that's not.
And this is exactly what I'm trying to tell the young talent. Do not procrastinate. I actually came from a lecture at senior class at University of Washington an hour or 2 hours ago, and same question was asked. When do I change? How do I? I said, okay, are you happy? Because my concept at work, every time they said, oh, you've been at Microsoft 20 years. I said, as long as I'm having fun, I'm staying. I am having fun. And when I left, was a purpose, was a goal. So I came out and I started my startups because it made me happy. Actually, my daughter said, we've never seen Dad this happy. And there's a reason behind, because the corporate environment, the corporate umbrella is over you.
What do you think your superpower is? And also, by the way, since you and I always have fun, if you were a superhero, what would you call yourself?
Superpower that it changed. And I realized that after I
like that. Your superpowers can change.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize what is it that clicks me. And I always talk about passion, fun. I want to have fun. I'm a fun guy. And even some of the managers keep coming to my office said, you're having too much fun. You're making too much joke and you shouldn't. I said, why not? And I never understood why I should change my DNA Am I productive? Am I having a big team? Yeah, and okay, I'll continue. But my superpower is bringing teams together and looking at a trend, monetize it, and bring a technology around it.
What do you look for when bringing a team together?
I look at how they work with each other. Do they respect each other? Do they have passion? Do they have patience to listen to each other? What are they?
Are they coachable?
Coachability and all that.
That's like a basic. You have to. Yeah.
Very often, you bring in a lot of talents linked to each other, like what we did in HoloLens. We had about 280 senior, like partner level people in a room. Sometimes we wouldn't even fit because our heads were so big. And we would not listen to each other. We would not even respect each other because each one of us in a previous life at Microsoft managed 600-700 people.
So you're not saying bring like-minded, same thinking people. You're trying to bring divergent thinking, but have respect and,
have a formula, have a set of guidelines.
How we'll talk to each other, what is acceptable to...
There is, you don't make fun of them. What type of a question was that? Ha ha ha. You don't do that. And thank God young talents don't do that anymore.
When I was there for almost 5 years, I was there 4 years and 11 months. Left November 2022, so last year basically.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty recent. At least in my org, very senior people like senior directors, GMs, right? All directors, whatnot. And people really just stopped asking questions. And I'm wondering if that ended up becoming like, that was normal. And what ended up, and when I came to Google, the culture here is ask everything. And it caught me off guard. I was like, why is this person asking me this question? Like, people just, do you not trust that I know what I'm doing? Like, that was my first instinct. And I literally, the coolest part is it forced me like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was closed off to other like openness. And what it does is when you allow people to ask you questions, and the thing that they told me to do is always assume good intent. Even if it wasn't a good intent that they came at you with, if you assume good intent, you disarm any negativity in the room.
So this, what you just did, what you just said, is one of the main building principles of being successful in any team or any organization or any startup. Asking critical questions. We are not taught that at school. People take it as a negative connotation that this guy's putting me on spot and you should not interrupt. Yes, and you're stepping in my lane, stay in your lane. So those are the things that we have to break. And Microsoft is, I want to say that it depends on team to team. I learned that from the one of the top managers I had, Steven Sinofsky. I respect him so much. I learned so much from him. I remember we had a think tank in one of the, when we were working on Office product. We went to offsite, and the first thing he said, this is 2003, and I still remember, he said, ask question. Try to ask stupid question. If you don't ask stupid question, I'm not inviting you the next time.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what I always said? There are no stupid questions. It is stupid not to ask questions. That's the reality. But we don't do it.
You know, I want to talk a little bit more about the future of surviving corporate America. And so I would ask you, you know, there's a couple things. Obviously generative AI and ChatGPT, how do you see these types of tools helping people survive corporate America?
I would say that there are things that are inevitable. It's happening, it's organic, and it's by design. We are in the business of developing technology, and we always want it simpler, easier, and we want to remove our obstacle out of it. So think of many years ago when that alarm clock came out. Alarm clock is another way of AI. It was artificially telling you what time to wake up. And then we moved a little closer to the coffee machine. That by the time I wake up, I put the time at 8 o'clock to have my coffee. So those are all automations that we put in our life. Then we went further and further and further, and we gave now computers power to think for us. And have you seen the movie I, Robot? And we're moving into that. And there is no way back. It's a point of no return, and it's happening. To answer your question, I've been having a lot of discussion with different industries and different people on that. So soon computers will decide for me, and they're creating this type of a mindset and blah, 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 and said yes, yes, and yes. And to put it very bluntly,
Helping it get smarter. Yeah.
we are actually helping Microsoft,
I don't know if I am.
Microsoft, Google, Apple, Amazon. They're all boasting the fact that we have AI, but we have not reached ML, machine learning. Machine learning is that common sense that I told you, and now we're putting the logic. But logic, machine has it. We tell them zeros and one. We say that, okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. Common sense. Machine cannot think like humans. You're going down a steep hill. The road is slippery. There's an old guy with a walker on the right side. There's a lady with a stroller on the left side. Which one would you direct? And some would say, I would go hit the old man. And I would say, no, I'll hit the brake. So that's this different thing. But here is what machine cannot make a decision. Okay? Machine cannot make a decision that, okay, I am going through this red light and there is a car coming really fast behind me and there is nobody in front of me. If I don't go through the red, he's going to hit me and my kid is in the back. Machine cannot make a decision. Machine stops and an accident will occur. Humans can think a little better, and once we put that thinking process inside the machine and create a perfect ML, humans should stay away and let the machine think. Are there connotations? Are there bad things happen? Yes, but let me take you to 1903, when there was only horse and carriage, and there was only one car, few cars that Ford made. Exactly 30 years later, I have a picture from Manhattan, New York. It's all cars and only one horse and carriage. 30 years after. Did we kill all the horses? Well,
Yeah, we put them in this red car called a Ferrari, right? That's where they went. That's where they went.
I'm saying that humans will figure it out. We're going there.
The basic thing you're saying is actually true, that humans want to see more efficiency, not do the mundane things, and that'll keep happening. It liberates us to do better things. What are they going to be? What do you think it's going to be?
Our mindset is designed to think and to just think ahead and move ahead. And the mundane things that machine can do to make our life easier and take it out of our mindset.
You're talking about patterns and recognition. I mean, there's a lot of data that's proven that hybrid work allowed people to be more productive, right? And more creative, and also that people demanded that in the workforce. Yet how come companies are now forcing people to come into the office and saying, like Bob Iger, most recently Disney, said everyone needs to come in 4 days out of the week. Like, what are your thoughts on that? What is your advice to that?
I believe that some industries, like marketing, sales, they don't need to. When you write the code or you're a developer, you don't need to. But there are some sort of interaction that needs to be done that needs human touch. That discussion in the coffee room or at the water factor, and that human touchy-feely needs to happen in order to have attrition, reduce attrition, and have a lot of more of the, I want to say company culture inside these young. And I'll always say one thing to the young talents. I said that for older managerial and people that have been established in the company, I don't care. Hybrid or no hybrid, I don't care. But for young talents
who haven't really gotten into the culture, been, feel onboarded, that hasn't happened to them.
Let me tell them one thing, that promotions and bonuses are very rare and discreet throughout every company. They're not going to be given to a person on the Zoom or team call. They are a function of vicinity. If you're in front of me,
But don't you think that's because it's an old system?
no,
Oh,
no, I have exercised it. Even Galloway, in all his podcasts, he talked about it. He said that this is a human thing. I'm a manager and I have 2 promotions to give. Do I know Steve or do I know Sandy or do I know Joe?
no, I agree that people make decisions on humans. I would say then it should force, because hybrid work as a part of your business core does require different things. And so as part of your performance metric, what I was hoping it would do, it would force more people to be objective on the promotions.
Thank you. Good luck. Didn't you 5 minutes ago said that, the corporate cannot, all the promotions, all the things, all.
I know they're not fair.
I have a bit of a perspective on this, which I think is the crux of most relationships, like you were saying. Relationships are built on trust, right? Trust is not established through one meeting. Virtual meetings is even harder. There is some chemical in all of us. We're all social animals. We know that. When we show up and hang out with each other, we draw energy from each other. Trust gets built. It's our body language. It's the hallway conversations. All of that kind of either builds it or erodes it, because times it erodes it too. So when you have proximity, in fact, you're right, there are lots of studies done on this in terms of trust. There is a trust versus physical distance graph I saw. I don't know where I saw it, but it actually shows exactly what you're saying. That the more interactions you've had with people, it's different. Like, that's why they talk about when in a football match, you're all standing and huddling together. That naturally, chemically builds trust. It just does it.
Well, it's probably also why long-distance relationships are also really hard.
It is the thinking, feeling, emotion, which is driven by chemicals. But one more part I want to call out here, that Adam Smith's time during Industrial Revolution is when you needed this clocking of hours, coming to work at certain times. You were making widgets. Somebody had to do your time card. Supervisor had to be there. The world has evolved. And as we get more and more into more abstract work and not mechanical work that machines will do, why the hell do you need that clocking? You need outcomes. And as more of the gig economy kicks in, the world is your oyster, right? Everybody around you has talent. If you're going to stick to the old model, and this is not me, I'm quoting actually McKinsey said this, you will only have mercenaries who will come work for you. They will extract the most money out of you, but you won't get the great talent that's out there that is would love to do some work for a great purpose. So are you a purpose-driven company, or are you classic numbers-driven company?
Are you a Jack Welch, old school, S&P 500?
The old school model will not work. It is not the Industrial Revolution.
What are your thoughts on, because Rassani was talking about the different type of structure. I remember hearing, because back at Microsoft, I think they had really great research on hybrid work. And obviously being, a company that owns a video collaboration tool, of course, you're going to have a lot of, just like Google would do the same thing, or Zoom, because the more people in hybrid, the more they're using our tool. I heard this concept called the 3 work zones now, right? You would, in the morning, you would do your emails, whatever, go to the gym, go take your kids to school, whatever it might be, do your day, meditation. Then start up again for a couple more hours, go to lunch. Again, recuperating, balance. And then do some more meetings, right? And then go do dinner with some friends. And then when you get back home around like 7 or 8 to 9, finish up some more emails.
We exercised that at Microsoft. All my career at Microsoft, I was in product development team. I was not in the marketing or in other organizations. So dealing with developers, with quality people, with PMs, and everybody has a different clock. Some work really well at night, and they love to play games in the afternoon and write code during night and during sleep till 11, 12 o'clock. Fine. We define work as productivity, as the timeline, as sprints. We say in the beginning of every project exactly who does what and when to deliver it. So that is exercise. Then comes the manager. Some are old school, some are not. And some are used to this, some are not. I believe that we have to let humans adopt to what works for them.
Yeah, forcing it any other way is going to be hard.
And it's not worked. You either want productivity,
Yeah.
or you want to have a discipline and military system.
No, do you want attendance or do you want outcomes?
Yeah, because go to military. If you are trying to do a military style, then go to army.
What surviving and succeeding in corporate America looks like?
Corporate America needs to relax, chill out, get a chill pill.
In what way? Where are they not relaxed? How about that?
Relax in work environment, hybrid work. Here's to stay.
High five.
And there is no other way behind it.
Yeah.
The sooner you adopt, the sooner you're successful with that and your productivity goes up. Now, another thing that I strongly believe is corporate needs to look at the future of work, future of humanity, future of technology. Look at us. We're having so much issues. It's hitting us in the face. We know autonomous transportation is coming here. Who's adopting it? Who's standing in front of it? Amazon just did Zoox. Apple did their own autonomous. Google has done Waymo. Soon, we'll have this cluster that we deal with on a daily basis in the morning and afternoon. It's going to hit us when we are forcing humans back to work, and we're not providing any medium for it. So we're working with a ton of expertise around different states and different countries on the future of transportation. I believe very strong that our future of transportation is autonomous.
You were saying that's one of the big things you're passionate about because that impacts everything.
And we're not only talking about autonomous shuttle on the roads. We're talking about tunnels, advanced tunneling system. We're talking about human carrying drones.
All forms of transport.
All forms of travel. Everything is on the table. And it's not that. It's not there. Technology is there today. We just have to refine it.
So how does America get out of its own way to allow that?
Regulations. We're dealing with ton of people that call themselves the experts. It's called now, their official title is senators and congresswomen. And they are putting a lot of nonsense in front of technologies. Look at China. I was in Beijing in 2016.
They get out of their own way and they just get it done. I love it.
I was in a business park and I saw these white things somewhere between a Volkswagen Bug and a Fiat all over this business park. And I asked my host, said, Mr. Chen, what are they? And he said, it's autonomous. I said, who makes them? He said, we do. And I said, what regulations? He goes, what means you? I said, regulations, what standards? He said, no standard. And I said, but what if they kill people? And he looked at me and started laughing. And he said, Mr. Nassirian, we have 1.5 billion of them. 1 or 2 is okay. I mean, this in contrast to United States or Europe, with all the standards, all the regulation, God forbid.
Well, I thought you bring up an interesting point about, the difference between, China and how they just get stuff done. But again, the problem with America, well, one of the things about America is that everyone, I think, suffers from, and it's the same thing in corporate America where people are like, I have to have my opinion heard. If it's not exactly how I've been told, it's the ego problem. And instead of unifying as a country and saying, we need to get together and work on this, they don't. And so like things that should be bipartisan, things that are like advancing the country. I think it's really interesting that you said that. So because our previous guest on episode 1 also said the same thing. You have people about generative AI that are writing policies that don't understand code, that don't understand the ramifications. And so he said that would be the greatest restriction to society. He's like, the people that literally said in Europe, all messaging platforms have to talk to each other. It's like, well, that then defeats the whole purpose. Now he's like, now you're just back to regular SMS texting.
When you don't have a purpose, when you don't have a goal, and you leave it up to some politicians.
So how do we fix that? That's not lobbying? How do we encourage technologists and experts to go and run?
Please, young people or anybody, by the time you vote, read the damn thing. Read what you're voting for. Get involved. Read. No, don't worry about the Republican. Don't be partisan. There are good things on both sides. But please read. When a congressman or a representative runs in your district, find out, go talk to them. It's your right. And do not bring people that you don't know. Just you're part of your community. Stay in your community.
You know what? I love that fact. Actually, being in Seattle, we had a massive rise in crime. I actually voted for the first Republican lawyer for city council or attorney, and that was the first Republican we've ever had elected in Seattle since 1989, which is my birthday, or not my birthday, but when I was born. And I just find that fascinating that, because people had enough, that it was. I think the problem is people was like, oh, it won't bother me. But then if it finally bothers you.
But how many people that age, in your age class, read a proposition or read a legislation? Zero. So that's why we are ambivalent to it. And I'm saying that we have the right to change.
And the responsibility.
But look, I know we're getting close to time. And so I really wanted to allow you this last moment to. I think you've already talked about what the future looks like, and I really do appreciate that. And I think you've given us some awesome advice on like how people can succeed in corporate America, how they can get started, how they can, drive impact. We want to leave it with you to share, like, obviously you've got this book. How can people access this? I think you mentioned you're a professor. What do you teach, where at? And then also like anything else you have coming up people should look out for.
I'm not a professor. I just do lectures in the university as they see fit. They invite me to campuses or on the stage. The book is called I'm Tired. I have my own website, michaelnassirian.io. And within that...
the michaelnassirian.com, I got that before.
michaelnassirian.com is also part of it, but the book is...
Can we get it on Amazon?
You can also get it on 19 different websites, but if you get it on michaelnassirian.io, you get the quality that is embossed and all that. There's a thicker paper, same price. But that's for the book. And for the future, I am encouraging all the young talent or everybody that is involved in corporate America to always use critical thinking, ask question. There is no bad question, no tough question. We trained you not to ask questions because I'm the boss and I shouldn't be put on hot seat in front of people. But change that, break that mold. Critical question is the key to the success, both for you and for the corporate, and filtering the wrong managers out. Then use at all times. Use your career as a startup. Every day is a new thing. Every day, use your talent and be a better version of you every day. That way is the key to your success. Do not be complacent. You get a job, I'm done. No, you're not done. That first day is a startup. Second day is just another startup. And always manage to stay ahead. Always be passionate, and there are I say something that there are ton of things that don't need talent. Being on time, being passionate, being courteous, having logic. These don't need any talent. Present them.
What is that? There's a phrase that says something beats talent every day. Is it like It's a practice and passion or something. It's like it's a cool, pippier way of saying it. But I agree, because like talent only gets you so far.
And never doubt in yourself. Very often we look at ourselves, we said, okay, I'm not worth it. I'm not anything. And because humans around you make you feel like that. But I went on the stage and I grabbed a $20 bill. I said, who wants it? Everybody raised their hand. I crumbled it. And I said, now who wants it? Everybody raised their hand. I put it on the ground and stomped on it. I said, who wants it? Everybody did. Why? Because the value of that $20 bill, it doesn't change. When I stumble on it, or I even put water or dirt on it, your value doesn't change if a human puts you down. I can put you down, but I didn't change your education or talent or passion or all the DNA behind you. You're you. So never doubt yourself. If you see that environment, move out.
To just summarize that, I think what you just basically said is everyone has the potential to do something great. Everyone has that. And on that note, go be great.
Thank you. Women, life, freedom. That's the model that we're now using for all the women in Iran and around the world that are fighting for their women, life, freedom.
We'll also post some links about charities or foundations that are going on in Iran. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite. I really enjoyed the talk.
We did too. Thank you.